Ken Trahan, Lenny Vangilder, SportsNola.com. It's the first NBC weekday preview coming off of a big weekend of college basketball, more pro football news, and, of course, breaking news in pro football, and that is that Peyton Manning apparently will become a Denver Bronco. He has given his agent permission to start negotiations with the Broncos, which effectively tells you that's where he's going. And, Lenny, I'm surprised.
You know, I am too. I didn't think San Francisco was a serious contender when we supposedly got down to these final three of Tennessee, Denver, San Francisco. I thought it would end up being the Titans, a division he was comfortable in, an area that he knew very well, on down the line. But, maybe it's the autonomy of the offense, the reports that I'm seeing out there, that may be the thing that turns it, as well as the fact that, he's probably going to get a lot of the pieces that he wants there in terms of players that he's familiar with from Indianapolis or other pieces that Denver's going to, in essence, build their free agency class around what Peyton Manning needs to be successful.
Well, we'll see. I mean, the only receiver that's out there is Dallas Clark. That might be somebody that Peyton could bring in. There's other players, of course, that were released by the Colts. But you look at the Denver Broncos, and you don't see a great deal of talent at wide receiver. Demaryius Thomas is a promising young player. Beyond that, I really don't see anything. Decker's okay. But are we underestimating Peyton Manning? Because we saw what happened with the Colts this year without him, and I think people understand just how good he was now.
Well, I think it's that, and I think it just goes to show you, not just Peyton Manning, but I think that top tier of starting quarterbacks in the National Football League. If the Saints were to lose Drew Brees for the season, like the Colts lost Peyton Manning, I think the Saints could have a significant fall off as well. Maybe not as pronounced as what the Colts experienced, because, again, Peyton is, in essence, your offensive coordinator, and that's a big part. So not only you're losing your quarterback, you're losing your play caller to a certain degree.
It's really hard to envision John Fox, who is, in my mind, the most conservative coach in the NFL, turning over the keys to the kingdom to Peyton Manning in a wide-open offense, but I guess it's going to happen. So good luck to Peyton Manning with this particular move. Of course, the NCAA field narrowed to 16 teams. What a great weekend it was. A lot of upsets, Lenny, and North Carolina with a significant injury, which is going to impact them. I picked them to go to the championship game and lose to Kentucky. Now you got to wonder just how far they're going to go. Kentucky still looks very good, and then we have some Cinderellas alive.
We do. 3 double-digit seeds. NC State, who you correctly predicted would reach the Sweet 16, Ohio University, and Xavier. And interestingly, I mentioned last night in my blog at SportsNola.com, how'd you like to be in the state of Ohio, or for that matter, that little Midwest cluster right now? You've got 4 schools from Ohio. You've got Kentucky, Louisville, and Indiana. That's 7 of the Sweet 16 right there, probably within. You could draw a circle for like 2 hours from around the city of Cincinnati and hit 7 of the teams that are in the Sweet 16. If that's not basketball country, I don't know what is.
Yep, Kentucky, Indiana facing each other again. I think Kentucky's got something in for the Hoosiers this time around personally, and nothing has changed my mind in terms of who's going to win it. I still like Kentucky to win this thing.
And, I picked North Carolina when it all started. Unfortunately, I had Missouri beating Kentucky in the Final Four. So much for Missouri.
Yeah, I had Missouri in the Final Four.
Yeah, I think, what I saw from Kentucky this past weekend was a lot different than what I saw in the SEC tournament, and obviously that's what I based my picks on. I saw a vulnerable Kentucky team in the SEC tournament. That team looked a lot better on Thursday and Saturday in Louisville.
Well, they really did. College baseball, Tulane sweeps Brown. I went to Baton Rouge and caught the LSU Saturday game with Mississippi State. They won 2 of 3. LSU fans, brace yourselves. You're going to have to get used to winning games that way this year. Runs will be hard to come by. It will take pitching and defense.
Yeah, it will. I saw the Friday game, and let me tell you, the Friday game is as good a college baseball game as I've seen in a long, long time. 2 fabulous pitching performances. Game 1 extra innings. Mississippi State a run at the bottom of the 10th. LSU 2 in the bottom of the 10th, or top of the 10th, and then LSU 2 in the bottom of the 10th to win 3-2. A terrific way to start SEC play. I think Pulmonary's got to be happy at the end of the day getting 2 out of 3 from that opening weekend.
Kudos to Sudo for reaching the second round of the NAIA National Tournament. Great job, Dale Valdery. Kudos to Tulane's women for reaching the second round of the WNIT. And, of course, the LSU women are into the second round of the NCAA basketball tournament by virtue of a win over San Diego State. And then, finally, Arena Football 2012 debuting yesterday. The Voodoo losing 63-62 to the Soul. Best arena game I've seen in about 2 decades, and probably against the best team in the league. So no moral victories, but obviously this is a better team.
Well, we'll see how it all plays out. But again, just based on one performance, I would have a tendency to agree. And obviously, you got a better vantage point than I do on that. But it's that's encouraging, and to see that maybe some of the changes that happened in the offseason, both coaching and personnel-wise, may pay some dividends here this year.
Yeah, no doubt they have better players, and their coaching staff is elite with the legend of the game, Tim Markham, assisting Pat O'Hara. And everything good, attendance not good enough, just over 5,000. Rough day, but still it's got to get better. And oh, by the way, about those uniforms. Red numbers, dark red numbers on black jerseys. A play-by-play man's nightmare.
Yeah, I was watching on TV and wondering that very same thing, whether it was you trying to call them or a stats crew trying to call them. Wasn't going to work very well either way. They need a little more white trim on those guys.
Please, we're begging you. Lenny, as always, a pleasure. Thank you very much.
We'll see you later this week.
All right, thanks to First NBC for our weekday preview of this past weekend and what's to come, and for SportsNola.com. Don't forget, Sports NOLA TV at 6 p.m. Monday night on WHNO Channel 20. I'm Ken Trahan.